Thank you so much for joining this channel. So we already started a series on design principle and we have already covered day up to day 5. Please visit that day 1 to day 5. We have discussed single responsibility principle, open close principle, list curve substitution principle, interface segregation principle. Now we are at the last principle, that is dependency inversion principle. That is very important. So what is the business problem? So current order. So we have started with the order management, right? So order service directly creates these dependencies, right? Payment. No. So we have splitted the service in the SRP. Then we have implemented list of subscription principle to handle the different type of payment types. Okay. And also we have introduced splitting the payment service into multiple uh, payment process like deferred payment or maybe the immediate payment that you all discuss. If you go through that, it will be very easy. But ultimately in the order service we have to create dependencies of the payment, notification, event service, right? There are so many. So this principle says the problem is we are directly creating instance of these services, so highly coupled and poor testability. So the DIP says high level module should not depend on low level module. Both should depend on abstraction. So order service should not directly depend on the payment service. It should depend on the abstraction. Say for example, payment service. It should not depend on the notification. It should depend on the notification service. The reason is loose coupling, better maintainability, easier testing, and replaceable implementation. So bad design. So you can see order. We have the services that we already created different for single responsibility purpose. But when I try to take the advantages, or you can say that leverage the services within the order service, we are creating like this. So we are directly creating the instances. But this principle says high level module should not depend on the low level module. It should depend on the abstraction. Both are abstraction. So this is a bad design. Why? Because tight coupling, harder unit testing, the difficult mocking, implementation changes, break consumer, poor maintainability. So correct design is use abstraction like payments or notification service, inventory, inject dependencies via .NET dependency. So what is order API? So we have already have the services, but we have introduced the contracts, payment, notify, inventory. Then instead of calling the direct instances, we are calling interfaces. You can see that payment, notification, and we have to declare this dependency in the .NET injection like add scope, payment. So that when the payment service will be injected, the payment service will be invoked. When notification will be injected, notification service will be invoked. When inventory, then inventory service. So the client API we will do in the future, but we have done here order API to order service to abstraction. Architecture principles, high level service depend on contracts, not on implementation. That is very important line. We will do in the future. So what we can do in the production, unit testing, interface, ownership, Serilog, those we will do. So ultimately in this last principle we have understood high level module should not depend on the low level module. It will depend on the contracts, not on the implementation. So I am just summarizing what we have done so far. We have done solid principle, S for single responsibility principle in the day 1, day 2. Then open close principle in the day 3. Third one is list scope principle is day 4. Fifth is interface segregation principle, and today in day 6 it is dependency inversion principle. So dependency inversion principle is nothing but high level module should depend on the contracts, not on implementation. Interface segregation tells you should not declare interface in such a way that you have to force all the implementer to implement all the interfaces, right, methods. You have to split in such a way that whatever required that will be implemented. So that is very important. List cup says derived type should be replaceable for the base type that we already discussed, and contract should not be broken. Behavior should not be changed. Say for example, UPI payment or cash on sorry credit card, debit card, the immediate processing of payment, but cash on delivery is deferred. So payment type is different. We have to handle separately. And open protection and close for modification. So as I said, there are multiple services payment in notification. In the payment also, there are different type of payments. The card management, debit card, smart card. So you can increase also. There is open protection and close for modification. And single responsibility. Earlier we were doing multiple things in the order service, and that we have split it. So this is the whole picture. Wherever you go, either banking industry or insurance industry or automotive industry, the concept will be same, only the name will be changed. So keep in mind this 5 solid principle, that is the backbone. Next we will start design pattern in a different playlist. Thank you so much.